Welcome back to V8 Creative and part 60 of the Ultima RS build, and if you've wondered where I've been, keep tuned and I'll reveal all. Yes, welcome back to the Dean Den, and sorry for the silence. I've been rather busy, and thank you to all of you sending me emails and messaging over social media asking how myself and Rufus have been over the last few weeks. Now, the reason I've been quiet, as you've probably guessed, is to try and get an IVA pass on my Ultima RS. And yes, do you think I've got it? Did it pass? Did it fail? Well, look at this. This is an IVA pass certificate. This is the Willy Wonka golden ticket that means I can register my RS and get her on the road. And the process of getting this, well, it can be a little involved. And the reason for that is in the UK, we're a very, very fortunate country where we have a scheme we can get hand-built cars on the road. As you can imagine, the demand for IVA test slots is very, very high, and getting a slot can take a little while, hence the delay. So IVA, what's involved? Well, the first thing you have to do is when you've finished your car, you have to book a test. You have to select one of about 20 stations around the UK that is actually run by the DVSA to get the car inspected. Now, the inspection is dozens and dozens and dozens of tests. And what it's really looking for is if the car has been built to a safe standard, if the car meets European legislation, and basically, is it safe to go on the road? And what's remarkable is the number of tests it goes through are huge. And I mean huge. Let's take, for example, let me take a test. Okay, the number of wipes of the windscreen wiper. Yep, they're counted. Also, any sharp angles outside the car, because you wouldn't want to hurt a pedestrian, would you? Also, field of vision. So when you're sitting in the car, they test what you can see out of your rear view mirrors. Next, speedometer, how accurate it is. They test it. And of course, because this car hasn't done a single inch, they allow you to calibrate the speedo on the rollers, which I had to do for the RS. But at the end of it, she is bang on. Other things that are tested are emissions, for example, seatbelt anchorages. Basically, the list goes on and on and on. But once it gets that stamp of approval, you're good to go. And then once the car is registered, it's like any other vehicle on the road. Now, legally, you are allowed to drive the car to the IVA test. Now, if you can imagine, that's probably a little bit risky. I'm not to say that I don't trust my RS, but what if it's lashing down with rain? What if it has an issue? Then I'm going to get stuck. So what I did is I rented a trailer, and I actually rented up there, you can see it, a racing trailer. Now I rented that from a company called Fieldfare Trailers. They're not sponsoring this at all. I just want to give them a shout out because hiring these trailers is very, very difficult. So if you're in the Wiltshire area in the UK and you need one, they've got 3. Oh yes, they got 3 trailers. And this little beauty, it towed superbly. Also, another thing I did that you haven't seen is I had the car remotely tuned. I know, I didn't even know it was a thing. So a company called Vortec sold me a dongle, yes, and you'll see it in the video, I'll put it up there. Now this dongle plugs in the OBD2 port and then plugs into my laptop. And I have a piece of software downloaded on my laptop, and the man, the tuner, Paul, remotely gets me running the car, and then he can see how it's performing. and actually make changes to the map. Isn't that amazing? And it's that sort of detail that is worth doing before you go for IVA, just to make sure she is running as well as she can. And what I'll do is I'll put the details down in the description here of Fieldfare Trailers and also Paul's Vortec business. So those two guys helped me out tremendously to get this beautiful beast across the line. So what next? Well, the next thing is I have to send all the paperwork off to the DVLA, yep, another government organisation, and then I get back a registration. And at that point, I can tell the insurance company that that's the reg, and off we go. So that can take, I believe, 2 weeks, maybe 3, I'm not quite sure. So you're gonna have to wait a bit. And then I can start giving you some footage of this machine on the road. How I debug it, because there will be some little things I need to adjust, how I set her up, how I get the optimum performance, suspension geometry setup, etc., etc., and that pure sound I'm going to share with you. So really this episode, no spannering, sorry, it's just an update, so you can all rest assured that, well, I'm still here and so is Rufus. Now, if you happen to watch this video this Friday night, there is a kit car show in the UK and I intend to go on Saturday and I may just bring Rufus. So if you're there at the show and you happen to see me, come over and say hi and you can see Rufus and give him a good pat. Anyway, and that's it really for this week. So, as I always say, keep smiling, happy spannering, and tune in to the next episode because she's gonna be on the road.
Leaving this place, the sun's about to break. You're riding shotgun, the feeling we chase. I'm wide awake, take me away now.